no chain. A black sneak, getting shiggity. You know Ray, a fast life living, but dealing with some slow days. What can I say? That's just what it is, dog. But I gotta get that money for my next of kin, dog. Ride around the city with a sticky icky, no complaining, speeding, rushing, blowing truck.
A very minor telekinetic incident. Very minor.
Got that money on my mind.
Very minor. His box just sort of tips back and forth on his own. I know it's nothing, eh? Doesn't do it all the time. Never did it before. There's nothing moving alive in the box. I didn't touch it. I didn't touch anything near it. Oh, I turned and looked at it. And it moved. I didn't touch it. Very minor. Very minor. Hey, YouTube, why does it take 11 minutes for you to tell me I'm not online? Actually, you didn't. Your chat did. Fucking wait. Why the fuck do I have to press this? I shouldn't have to go on. Today's 14. Let's see if this works. 114, right. 13, 14, 114. But it's not. That's... Never mind. So how come it was off before? I see, this is what I hate about this. I know everything's been fucked with. Oh, fuck. Thank you. I'm riding around the city with a sticky icky, no complaining, speeding, rushing, blowing trouble. I'm running out of time, I got that money on my mind, and I'm too hard to switch, I mix it with the dope. I see these bitches slacking, man, these wannabe rappers talking shit, gee, I better take a note. On the come up steady rising, some up, y'all be steady hiding, I'm colliding, slipping, sliding to your hoe. The internet radio refused to work.
Piano. These rappers frontin' like they Lucky Luciano, but they don't know that I'm a goddamn Batman. And when you see me, best believe I raid in black, that's Batman. I turn y'all into ghosts,
Coconut water plants are stackable.
No games for you up in trash cans, no shame. You want blow, that's no way. That cocaine got your nose red like strawberries from show dice. I get money and sit back and post, man. Chill deep and for real creep on your Dane. That heat leave you with no sleep and no brain. Then you awake with no sneaks and no chain. A black sneak getting shiggity. You know Ray, a fast life living, but still dealing with some slow days. What can I say? That's just what it is, dog. But I gotta get that money for my next of kin,
no, I don't. I'm not fucking... No, but it's not the dollar. It's the fucking idea in your head.
I'm running out of time, I got that money on my mind, and I'm too hard to switch and mix it with the dope. I see these bitches slacking, man, these wannabe rappers talking shit, gee, I better take a note. On the come, I'm steady rising, some of y'all be steady hiding, I'm colliding, slipping, sliding to your home.
Yeah, my name is Riley, son. But you know, niggas call me AKA Rock.
I feel like I'm trying to move faster to get rid of it, but I'm not. I just trying to mix it more together. Yeah, but I have to tell it somewhere. Nothing wrong with it. I just don't like it as much.
The Timberlake,
this is the name.
What up?
Motherfucker, is that like frozen yogurt? Concentrated apple juice, motherfucker.
Check it. No Dreamcast. I don't know. I was born to grow up, abandoned and poor. Take medications that make me tired and also sore. I never asked for this, it just got a case. I'm trying to make money, I'm after the pay. Kids blame me for everything that went bad. My dad was an alcoholic, he drank till his calves was out. I lived in constant doubt, I always had the shout to be enough when it crossed. I lived in about 100 different group homes, never had the same bed for a month. I felt alone. They kept on changing my meds. They kept on changing my mood.
I want to do all the same drugs for Sherlock Holmes.
It's nothing new. That's how I was raised. Went through all elementary school getting hazed. I met this girl. Our friendship went terribly wrong. But that's just another reason for emotion in this song.
Smoked Chinese black tea, that's what it says. I had
Life is what you make it, through the thick and the thin. Been lost in the struggle, still I'm striving to win. Sin in my soul, royals, these decisions down. King of depression, held down by your glittering crown. After Pops died, mama had a heap on the back. Now I'm trying to make fat stacks off of these tracks. Trying to be the best in all these things that I do. Say fuck the world, I go with an infinite crew. Strike times, night crimes make me wanna give in. No surrendering from all these places I've been. This is for my bad health and the things I create. This is for my world and all of the things that I state. Every moment above ground is a gift from above. Through the pains in the field, towards hate and the love. Gotta keep trucking even if I might break shit. And all the people keep telling me you're gonna make it.
Well, you get a bicycle in your document, federal laws, according to common regulations and bylaws. Oh, I gotta watch the seeds and shit too. I don't know what my.
Yeah, you already know who it is. It's your boy,
Who is it?
Big Boy Ben.
Go shout to whoever made this beat. YG, you did your thing, man. But no disrespect, I ain't no nigga. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, and I'ma do it for my natives. So hooping and we're hooping, and I do it for my natives, for my natives, I put on for my natives. I show out for my natives, for my natives. I do this for my natives. I do this for my people. I do this for my tribe. I do this for myself. I gotta stay alive. My natives know what's up, cause my natives know it down. Got my natives all around. From my town to your end, it ain't no problem. We do the damn thing. Running with my BM, 59, 50 fitted, all red, everything, and you heard me right. I be scooping and we're hooping all damn night. I do this for my natives. I do this for my natives. We good all day, but I'm just demonstrating. I'm just demonstrating the ways I was shown. I was running bread for the rest. That's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some. Go shout to whoever made this beat. YG, you did your thing, man. But no disrespect, I ain't no nigga.
You put the same stuff like Drake into the wild. There's no chorus, there's no backup feature singer.
I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, and I'ma do it for my natives. So hooping and we're hooping, and I do it for my natives, for my natives. I put on for my natives, I show out for my natives, for my natives. I do this for my natives, I do this for my people, I do this for my tribe, I do this for myself. I gotta stay alive. My natives know what's up, cause my natives know it down. Got my natives all around, from my town to your end, and it ain't no problem. We do the damn thing. Buzzing with my BF, 59, 50 minutes, all red, everything, and you heard me right. I be tripping and we're hooping all damn time. I do this for my natives, I do this for my natives. We keep on hating, but I'm just demonstrating. I'm just demonstrating the ways I was shown. I was born and bred for the rest, that's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some. Cause that means so we can need to get about the day. I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Like me, I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives. And I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native.
My native for the duration of my life. Reservation is the place I wanna find. So you better recognize I'm not stopping till I cop until my day of expiration and it hits my end of time. It's one of the expectations that I'm gonna.
Go out to whoever made this beat. YG, you did your thing, man. But no disrespect, I ain't no nigga. I'ma ride for my motherfucking name.
It's not possible to give me ordinance that are compatible,
the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my native. And I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, and I'ma do it for my natives. So moving and we're moving and I do it for my natives, for my natives, I put on for my natives, I show out for my natives, for my natives, I do this for my natives, I do this for my people, I do this for my tribe, I do this for myself, I gotta stay alive, my natives know what's up, cause my natives going down, got my natives all around, from my town to yours, and it ain't no problem, we do the damn thing, buzzing with my BF, 59, 50 minutes, all red, everything, and you heard me right, I be stripping and we're moving, all damn night, I do this for my natives, I do this for my natives, we keep on hating, but I'm just demonstrating, the ways I was shown, I was born and bred for the rest, that's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some. Cause that beat so we can need and get about the day. I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives. And I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native.
Riding for my natives for the duration of my life. Reservation is the place I wanna find. So you better recognize I'm not stopping till I cop until my day of expiration and it hits my end of time. It's one of the expectations that I'm gonna live by. Savage, I'm a dancer, always represent my kind. I'm never explanation to why you know why. My natives.
I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going. Go out to whoever made this beat. YG, you did your thing, man.
If you come any closer, I'm gonna stab you.
I ain't no nigga. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking natives, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, and I'ma do it for my natives. So moving and we're moving, and I do it for my natives, for my natives. I put on for my natives, I show out for my natives, for my natives. I do this for my natives, I do this for my people, I do this for my tribe, I do this for myself. I gotta stay alive.
You guys got like a digital timestamp.
Cause my natives going down, got my natives all around, from my town to yours, and it ain't no problem. We do the damn thing. Buzzing with my BF, 59, 50 fitted, all red, everything, and you heard me right. I be stripping and we're moving all damn night. I do this for my natives, I do this for my natives. We keep on hating, but I'm just demonstrating. I'm just demonstrating the ways I was shown. I was born and bred for the rest, that's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some. Cause that beef so we can eat and get about the day. I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Like, see, I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native.
Spit and cough nails and don't have to run. I'm not trying to make a lips out of cheese, you stupid motherfuckers trying to fuck with them first. Cause I got my enemies, everybody's trying to get away from us. And I don't think you understand, we don't really know where we never been before. And I ain't going in unless I'm in my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. And we will unlock it. Even the little kids know how to cock it and fucking let it pop off.
So shout to whoever made this beat.
Caliber, 15
YG did your thing, man. But no disrespect, I ain't no nigga. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. So rippin' and we're rippin' and I do it for my natives, for my natives. I put on for my natives, I shoot out for my natives, for my natives. I do this for my natives, I do this for my people, I do this for my tribe, I do this for myself. I gotta stay alive. My natives know what's up, cause my natives know it down. Got my natives all around, from my town to yours, and it ain't no problem. We do the damn thing. Posted with my BF, 59, 50 fitted, all red, everything, and you heard me right. I be stripping and we're hooping all damn night. I do this for my natives, I do this for my natives. You keep on hating, but I'm just demonstrating. I'm just demonstrating the ways I was shown. I was born and bred for the rest, that's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some.
She was drinking milk and then she was smoking weed.
I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, my native, my native.
Who's been picking up all the fucking needles and goes like, oh,
my native, my motherfucking native, my 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 motherfucking native. Yeah.
Riding for my natives for the duration of my life. Non-reservation is the place I wanna find. So you better recognize I'm not stopping till I come until my day of expiration and they hit my end of time. It's the expectation that I'm gonna live by. Savage, I'm a desert, always represent my kind. I'm never explanation, you already know why. My natives.
Don't listen to nobody but what's inside me. Nobody else has to live with the consequences.
YG did your thing, man. But no disrespect, I ain't no nigga. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm with my native, 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 my motherfucking natives, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my native, my motherfucking native. Yeah, I'ma ride, I'ma die, and I'ma do it for my natives. So rippin' and we're hooping, and I do it for my natives, for my natives. I put on for my natives, I shoot out for my natives, for my natives. I do this for my natives, I do this for my people, I do this for my tribe, I do this for myself. I gotta stay alive. My natives know what's up, cause my natives throw it down. Got my natives all around, from my town to yours, and it ain't no problem. We do the damn thing. Posted with my BF, 59, 50 fitted, all red, everything, and you heard me right. I be stripping and we're hooping all damn night. I do this for my natives. I do this for my natives. You keep on hating, but I'm just demonstrating. I'm just demonstrating the ways I was shown. I was born and bred for the rest. That's why I call it home. You can leave me alone if you don't want problems. Me and my natives, yeah, we always gotta solve some. Cool that beef so we can eat and get about the day. I'ma ride, I'ma die, I'ma do it for my natives. I'ma ride for my motherfucking natives. Most likely I'ma die with my finger on the trigger. I've been grinding outside all day with my natives, and I ain't going in unless I'm in my native, 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 my motherfucking native, my native, my native, my native, my native. Yeah.
Hello. This call is from the Tax Department of Canada Revenue Agency.
Oh, yeah, from the tax department of the tax department. Yeah, an agent of an agent of an agency. Yeah, wow, that's pretty important. It's a triple A, right? A super agency. You're a triple agent. Wow.
Please speak.
Vote me for mayor. Taking helicopters down with a little laser. And in Canada, I'm holding bigger than fucking mega. Yaga, the liquor for the shots will make you stagger. For my little brother, it's like he loves my partners. Real bad boy, for my baby, y'all watch. With this empire, it's nothing like rocks. These are enemy lines, nobody can cross it. I'm the rappers and in a battle with parts of the struggle shit. Four clips like a bitch's wig stick shit. Murder gang sick shit. Got me reading the words as of my victim lipsticks. Fuck. Hit your same murders. Niggas know I'm running through the streets of beef like the hamburger with the burner. No food surfing. Yeah, still M3G reppin'. Yeah, sitting in the vehicle, plotting on people. Taking your proud's possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. I'm at the bar ordering a Heineken. Waiting for the feet to fall back. I was timing them. Fronting them a double set up. Check me around 9 and 10. MGK and Wild Boy. Nigga, we some wild men. Put together life again. Rifles like the Irishman. Used to call me Ben Shred. But Charlie was a rider man. Nigga try to end me for the money. Call a fireman. I put my fucking flamer. Go ahead and try it then. By all means, do you. I'm creeping through the field shop for Zulu. Cruising in the Subaru. Murder gang, crowbar dogs and give them bubbles. You lose. Tell you what kind of like two shows. Listen, Julie receives it, I hire shooters to whack you. Right now, I'd rather smack you. Don't even attempt, I won't doubt you. Really, I don't have to. Slap the kids so hard, I put a one
Okay, this makes no sense.
Murder gang
Is these
squad in the
Android
back
buttons
of shit.
standardized? Okay, these keyboards are standardized?
My number, you ain't die yet. That judge ain't fire. By the end of
Freaking
the
buttons
track,
do
the
something.
motherfucker buying it. That bitch on hinges and a couple 45s in it. Catch a couple cases, but I'll beat him if I'm hiding it. In the L spot, nigga known for the kill shot. Cause I'm the nigga that shot Jack and chill out the hilltop. Two, Lil Red Rider Hood was Rider Hood. The song blew her up now. She ain't riding through the hood at all. And Woody Woodpecker was a fag while Batman got chest and panties up for his pants. Spidey was a swinger. Wolverine is a nigga that's obvious that I ain't got a mention master spinner. When I master shredder in my mouth, I'm dead roll blast for cheddar. Trying to make out is better. Yeah, I'm sitting in the vehicle, plotting on people. Taking your proud possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything I'm doing is illegal. Kneeling with the hammer. Call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer. Call it Home Depot.
The delays are fucking incredibly lame. 15 seconds to go click, click. Seriously. Essentially, I should be able to tap, and it should happen.
All
What
these
the
niggas
fuck is
saying they
going
wrapped
on?
up, boy, none of them ain't got time. Enjoy they not ready. Only thing I'm looking is a cop siren. I'm out driving, going across an island to the front hide about 5 highs, and I'm not lying, so stop trying. Why the fuck is you lying? Damn, man, look like you back at it again. But then why is that to look back to why I still right? These drummers. Lord have mercy, y'all, these niggas sound like ragamuffins. Mac, daddy, man, I done jumping. The cat is shock attack like one-on-one with Duncan. A crossover layer, maybe I might just stand with Duncan. Parties on top of parties, I had a toxins bucket up. Pulling up in no front. American much of that sort. Let's take it back to that road. Can't match to that store. Yo, pay further than the number for. When the number's sure, that's 100 more. I got 100 cars on the telly boy for the rock and roll. But I learned power. Last cut from my Iron King, I got an iron boy, but I press niggas out Erica. You niggas soft like why you niggas want trying to fall for now my niggas are press pinnacles like dinosaurs playing Diana Ross, to get my final cards like an arrow dog. Beware of us. New Toronto, we're all Toronto, same shit. Nah, just keep 6 cause 6 up whenever Drake snitch. New Toronto, we're all Toronto, same shit. Nah, just keep 6 cause 6 up whenever Drake snitch.
Okay, so this JavaScript player allows you to download, allows you to select the volume. Why are you going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down? Fuck up. I'm talking about these bars, the fucking webpage that I haven't touched in 30 seconds. Right.
So stop trying. Why the fuck is you lying? Damn, man, look like you back at it again. But then why is that to look back to why I still ride? These drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match. Not that mercy, y'all, these niggas sound like ragamuffins. Daddy, Mac, had a jump it.
These telephones all the time, they know how those work. The operator's an idiot, your call's not gonna go through no matter what. Right.
Bodies on top of bodies, I had a cops bunking, I pulling up in no foot. American most of that foot. Let's take it back to that raw. 10 minutes of that store. Yeah, the big fight that I'm before. When the number's sure that's 100 more. I got 100 calls on the daily boy for the rock and roll with a lines pop. Last cut from my Iron King, I got an iron boy with a press niggas out Erica. You niggas soft like why you niggas want trying to fall for now my niggas are press pinnacles like dinosaurs playing Diana Ross to get my body across like an arrow does. Beware of us. New Toronto, we're all Toronto, same shit. Nah, just keep 6 cause 6 up whenever Drake snitch. New Toronto, we're all Toronto, same shit. Nah, just keep 6 cause 6 up whenever Drake snitch.
It's 8 now, it's 13. Right, okay, so did I just do that twice? I didn't even press it. Okay, so let's just press play because this sounds from this.
My feet going rock climbing. All these niggas saying they rocked up, but none of them ain't got diamonds. Why they not riding? Only thing I'm looking is a cop siren. I'm out driving, going past an island, cause I'm flying high about 5 highs, and I'm not lying, so stop trying. Why the fuck is you lying? Damn, man, look like you back at it again. But then why is that to look back to why I still ride? These drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match, drum match. Lord have mercy, y'all, these niggas sound like ragamuffins. Mac, daddy, Mac, had a jumping. To get a shaka, attack like one-on-one with Duncan. A crossover layer, maybe I might just get with Duncan. Bodies on top of bodies, I had a cops bunking, I pulling up in no foot. American most of that foot. Let's take it back to that road. 10 minutes of that store. Yeah, the big fun that I'm before. When the number's sure that's 100 more. I got 100 calls on the daily boy for the rock and roll with a lines pop. Last cut.
It's only 30 seconds long. If you fuck up for 25 seconds, and I'm gonna just talk over it and do it and something. Oh, it doesn't nothing works. Notice my eyes are not closed. Tell me to read the letters off the screen and the image froze in pieces.
Tell about this thing about beating a foreigner drivers. Some of us are not trying to take the jobs, South African jobs. Some of us are refugees. Working is a part of living. We have no support from the government or any government at where we're coming from because we came here as refugees. So we have to work. We're not trying to take any. Some of us, we're not trying to take
see
the
what
job.
you're trying, attempting to interfere with?
Some of us are refugees.
For fuck's sake, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
We have no
it's one thing after another that you put white supremacists. First you gotta be something like Supreme.
Some of us, we're not trying to take the job.
I am 1%. I can prove it with a simple blood test.
Working is a part of living. You tell about this thing about beating a foreigner drivers. Some of us, we're not trying to take the jobs, South African jobs. Some of us are refugees. Working is a part of living. We have no support from the government or any government at where we're coming from because we came here as refugees. So we have to work. We're not trying to take anybody's job. We're just trying to survive like you guys.
9 years experience, man.
Don't catch the reference.
Hlezi phansi angizilutho-ke manje. Umsebenzi wami uthathwe ebona labantu bangaphandle. 9 years.
husband has weight issues and disorder. I've tried everything to keep him motivated, going to the gym with him, even put him on an eating plan together for us. He's been cheating behind my back butt and eating junk food without him knowing. I found a full rubbish bag full of chocolates, wrappers, pies, and other junk food and snacks. What must I do? Should I tell him, confront him, or must I just leave him to deal with these issues? I don't know, someone else.
Oh, Professor Sliver, can you...
Taking a look at your traffic, as mentioned by Andy James earlier on, the roadway on the N2 northbound before the Spaghetti Junction has reopened. This is following a major accident scene involving 2 trucks and 8 cars. We still have queuing traffic on the route, especially as you approach the Edlands Wales interchange, so we ask for your patience as the backlog is slowly clearing up. Still on the N2, if you're traveling on the southbound side from Durban, making your way towards Amanzimtoti, we're now met with another truck blockage after the old airport. If you are coming from Durban, please ensure that you are taking an alternative route. And just a few minutes ago, we had protest action on the N3 to Johannesburg before the Ottoman Road off-ramp in Maritzburg. And please note that the scene has now been cleared. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Mutisa Joy.
Report traffic now. Call 031. Illuminati.
This is one of my favorite parts of the week where Utisha Sky Shabalala teaches us a word, a phrase, a sentence in isiZulu in under 60 seconds.
Why is it 3 minutes long?
Showcase. So today we're going to learn, it's a very nice one, how to ask your Zulu co-worker or just your co-worker, because we've been doing these Zulu lessons. So now you can actually ask this to anyone. Okay, so we are asking, what time is our meeting?
Oh, I took so long to get to this one.
Yeah, this is so important.
I like that. On Zoom. On Zoom.
What time is our meeting?
Okay.
Now, once the question has been asked and answered, does it even make a difference?
I'm not too sure. It depends who's asking the question. I mean, if it's Kerry Miller, it doesn't really make a difference.
It doesn't matter. Why are you even asking? Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever if Kerry ever asks us, you just go angas.
Yeah, angas. No, yeah, you just like whatever time you decide to rock up. But anyway, that's not the point today. Okay, so what time is our meeting? Write this down, Darren Moore and Kerry Miller.
Okay.
Ready?
I don't know. Are you ready?
No, I'm born ready. Like, this is me. Okay. Ungasikhathi sini umhlangano wethu. Ungasikhathi sini umhlangano wethu. May I try? Okay, now let's try to be more fluent. Yes. Okay, let's go.
Hello, Professor.
No, I'm gonna. Okay, yeah. Yes, Darren Moore.
Ungasikhathi sini umhlango wethu. Umhlanga unish.
No.
But do you have money?
Umhlangano wethu. Sky. Ungasikhathi sini umhlangano wethu.
But uqala ngo9:15.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
See, umhlangano is quite easy, Darren, because umhlanga, and then umhlanga,
umhlangano wethu.
Yes, there you go. No, not too bad.
I think you just reminded me that we really do have umhlangano at 9:15, don't we? Thank you.
Yes, we do.
So then, Sky, I'll also ask you, Sky, Mshengu, my love, ungasikhathi sini umhlangano wethu?
But unless we co-workers, we can't be pen and inks and stuff. You can't be my love. What's my love?
So how about this then, Sky? Ungasikhathi sini umhlangano wethu, no HR.
Oh, yeah, okay, angas.
After I called you my love, we're about 8 minutes. Thank you, Sky.
There you have it.
Thank you, Utisha. And when it is a lot inappropriate, I'll give you an apple.
Okay.
Or Android, anything you need.
So there you go. That's the Kuluminati and loads more. In actual fact, a buttload of Kuluminatis are available for you on our website. Go to ecr.co.za, click on Darren, Kerry and Sky, or wherever you enjoy your preferred podcast platform.
KZN's #1 way to wake up. Darren, Kerry.
Sky,
yes, there you go. No, not too bad.
I think you just reminded me that we really do have umhlangano at 9:15, don't we? Thank you.
This is one of my favorite parts of the week where Utisha Sky Shabalala teaches us a word, a phrase, a sentence in isiZulu in under 60 seconds.
Showcase. So today we're gonna learn.
No, I don't want to download
how
it again.
to ask
Thank you.
your Zulu co-worker or just your co-worker, because we've been doing these Zulu lessons. So now you can actually ask this to
Fuck
anyone.
off, like,
What time is our meeting?
I got experience
so long to get to this
running
one.
normally.
Yeah.
You're
This is
trying to
I
approve
like
and
that.
disapprove of each
On
individual
Zoom.
fucking
On Zoom.
one is why there's
What
fucking
time
problems,
is
you
our
fucking retards.
meeting?
Fuck off.
Now, once the question
Watch
has
this
been
shit
asked
later
and
like
answered,
everybody
doesn't
else,
even make a difference.
stupid. Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm not too sure. It depends
Our job
who
is to
you
watch
asking the questions. I mean, for Kerry Miller, it doesn't really make a
There's so
difference.
much
Why are you
that
even
we just
asking?
don't
Okay.
totally understand.
Yeah. So
Nobody
whenever
watches
Kerry
what I'm up
asks,
to
you just
except
go,
for you idiots.
No, yeah, you just like whatever time you decide to rock up. But anyway, that's not the point today. Okay, so what time is our meeting?
Rock up.
Write this down, Darren Moore and
You
Kerry
said
Miller.
rock up.
August.
That's the most interesting linguistic term.
No, yeah, you just like whatever time you decide to rock up. But anyway, that's not the point today.
up.
Okay, so what time is our meeting? Write this down, Darren Moore.
I'll fuck up for pressing on.
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. News Watch.
The Queensland Provincial Government says it's now ready to provide all learners with meals as part of the National Schools Nutrition Program. This has grades of 97 learners returned to classrooms yesterday in most parts of KZN schools. Speaking at a COVID-19 briefing update on Sunday, Premier Sisha Zinalala said even learners who have not yet returned to schools can benefit. He says this will help relieve
Pressure on many households who are already struggling financially.
There are 2.34 million
Oh, can we fucking figure out what day we're on?
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. News Watch.
The KZN Provincial Government says it's
We just
now
need to
ready to
listen to
provide
this
all
over and
learners with
fucking
meals
over
as
because
part of
there's
the
no
National
longer
Schools
any
Nutrition Program.
interface.
This has
Right.
grades 6 and 11 learners returned to classrooms yesterday in most parts of
As far as weight issues and disorder, I've tried everything to keep him motivated, going to the gym with him, even put him on an eating plan together for us. He's been cheating grand on that part and eating junk food without me knowing. I found a full rubbish bag full of chocolate wrappers, pies, and other junk food and snacks. What must I do? Should I tell him, confront him, or must I just leave him to deal with these issues on his own?
Fuck said, what are you locking up now? I don't give a fuck about this fat bitch talking about her fat fucking husband, eh?
Taking a look at your traffic as mentioned by Andy James earlier on the roadway on the into northbound before the Spaghetti Junction has reopened. This is following a major accident scene involving 2 trucks and 8 cars. We still have queuing traffic on the route, especially as you approach the Edens Mills interchange, so we ask for your patience as the backlog is slowly clearing up. Still on the N2, if you're traveling on the southbound side from Durban,
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. News Watch.
The 6 men accused of the murder of Tonga Tina and Dylan Buchu will this week find out whether they'll be granted bail. Today, the accused, tavern owner Mlungisi Tabete, and 5 others appeared at the Verla Magistrates Court, where their attorney, Chris Gounden, presented his closing arguments. They're accused.
News Watch.
The 6 men accused of the murder of Tonga Teen and Dylan Buchu will this week find out whether they'll be granted bail. Today, the accused, tavern owner Mlungisi Tabete, and 5 others appeared at the Verla Magistrates Court, where their attorney, Chris Gounden, presented his closing arguments. They're accused of kidnapping Mbutu in May.
News Watch.
The 6 men accused of the murder of Tonga Teen and Dylan Buchu will this week find out whether they'll be granted bail. Today, the accused, tavern owner Mlungisi Tabete, and 5 others appeared at the Verla Magistrates Court, where their attorney, Chris Gounden, presented his closing arguments. They're accused of kidnapping Mbutu in May and allegedly killing him before burning his body.
throwing it into a bag filled with rocks and dumping it into a river. Lauren Bucas was there.
The case got off to a rough start today when no interpreter could be found to assist with translations for the accused, leaving uncertainty on whether proceedings would continue. Dowden, however, insisted on it going ahead, assuring the court that his clients are able to understand and will not be left in the dark. He started his argument by claiming that his clients, charged with murder and kidnapping, were given no specific reason why the state opposed their bail. He argued that there was no clear indication as to where information on the affidavits had come from, claiming that the investigative officer is trying to mislead the court. Dowden says this is an open and shut case, claiming that his clients have given no reason not to be granted bail. He says video footage of the victim does not implicate any one of the accused. He says a petition handed to the court by the community for no bail looks fabricated and isn't reliable. The case has been adjourned till tomorrow, where the state will give their closing arguments. Lauren Bucas, East Coast Radio Newswatch, Verulam Magistrates Court.
The KZN Department of Health says the province has experienced its first coronavirus-related pediatric death. A 5-year-old baby succumbed to COVID-19 complications. According to a department statement, the baby was admitted to hospital with TB this week. Meanwhile, officials say there's been 789.
Claiming that his clients have given no reason not to be granted does not implicate any one of the accused. He says a petition had adjourned till tomorrow, where the state will give their closing arguments. Lauren Bucas, East Coast Radio Newswatch, Verulam Magistrates Court.
The KZN Department of Health says the province has experienced its first coronavirus-related pediatric death. A 5-year-old baby succumbed to COVID-19 complications. According to a department statement, the baby was admitted to hospital with TB this week. Meanwhile, officials say there's been 789 new cases of the virus between Sunday and yesterday in the province, adding that KZN contributed only 9% of new cases reported nationally. The province continues to experience an upsurge of cases, with eThekwini and Mgungundlovu districts recording 60% of the daily cases. 3 people, including a firefighter, have been left injured after a truck rear-ended a fire truck on the N2 near Belito, north of Durban. IPSS Medical Rescue's Paul Herb says members of the Quadaguza Fire Department were in the process of extinguishing a veld fire when the incident occurred.
Both the driver and the passenger of the one vehicle sustained moderate injuries and was transported by IPSS Medical Rescue to a nearby facility for further care. One of the firemen standing behind the truck was lucky to escape with minor injuries. He was also transported by IPSS Medical Rescue through to a private facility for further care.
Let's move abroad now. 5 million Melbourne residents are ordered back into lockdown after cases surge in Australia's second biggest city. Victoria State Premier Daniel Andrews announced a 6-week lockdown, which will begin tomorrow, warning that people cannot pretend the virus crisis is over. The city detected 191 new cases in 24 hours, and Andrews says there's now been too many to trace properly, so restrictions are needed. Durban PMB 18, Richards Bay 21. Our top story, the 6 men accused of the murder of Tonga teen Andile Mputu will this week find out whether they'll be granted bail. For the Newswatch team, I'm Myron Naika.
Coming up in your sport, the Mandela Day Marathon is the latest event to be cancelled amidst the coronavirus
Look
lockdown.
at it as a complication of COVID. It's sort of the other way around. It's sort of the other way around.
And the hour has come. The time has come for this week's edition of
The Big Debate. But I'll let the guy do it.
On FM, online, and on your...
And the hour has come. The time has come for this week's edition of
The Big Debate. But I'll let the guy do it, okay?
Hashtag The Big Debate.
All right, so today's big debate, Stacey, is very polarizing. It's the battle of the sexes. But to maintain some level of objectivity, let's think of an answer. Let's have a reason behind the answer.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of caveats from you. I need you to tell us what the debate is about.
You ready, Stacey?
Yes.
Who gossips more, men or women? The big debate.
Fancy man, please.
Hashtag The Big Debate.
Thank you, Fancy man. All right, now, today, the big debate is centered around who gossips more, men or women? Let's kick things off with the voice note, please.
Okay.
Obviously, like, has to be a woman. Because, like,
women can be talking about a blue car and then all of a sudden remember that no, this girl I was wearing a blue skipper and she was cheating on her husband that has the same car. Whereas you were just genuinely talking
Wait a
about
second,
a blue
hold on.
car.
No, I think she just
And
proved her
like
point.
males,
What the fuck did you
you'll
just
be
say?
talking about a blue car and they'll just divert the conversation.
Okay.
Obviously, like, has to be women. Because with like women can be talking about a blue car and then all of a sudden remember that no, this girl I was wearing a blue skipper and she was cheating on her husband that has the same car. Whereas you were just genuinely talking about a blue car. And like males, you'll be talking about a blue car and they'll just divert the conversation into a different model of a blue car. Like,
she's got a point.
She's not
Entirely,
wrong.
yes.
However,
Guys are just stupid.
I would like to offer the opinion that men gossip, if not as much, then more than women. And
You
here's
say
why.
worse things with less words.
I don't think that men gossip in the way that society has deemed it a female to female thing. So when women are gossiping with other women, it's generally about other women.
Yeah.
It's catty, it's mean-spirited, it's because we're all in competition, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of set up as like this, you know, row kind of thing.
It's more like,
yeah, exactly. And it's always going to be a whole redunter, right? But when guys do
tell us
it,
what
you're
that
just sharing
It's true.
information. You're just sharing information. So guys are 100% having Skinner stories, but they're not, there's not flounce, you know what I mean? There's no official term for it. So I'm going to actually throw my hat in the ring and say it's the dudes. But what do you think?
I reckon it's the dudes as well. We just do it differently, like you said. But I still feel like we should continue putting it out there to KZN because I feel like we haven't really gotten a proper justification for either or.
Oh, so you want to know why?
I want to know.
You want the
why.
research. You want the Deborah Patta.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let us know. 0617929495.
Daisy, I think personally men gossip much more than ladies. The reason is I belong to one of this Lani or the Laniest gym in Durban, and trust me, the ones who gossip the most and know all the news, latest news and gossip stories about everyone, male and female included, is the men.
It is now time for the big debate.
Hashtag the big debate.
And to be fair, Jay did say, listen, we both agree in studio that men tend to gossip more. The WhatsApp line is split down the middle as far as the women are concerned, yet not a single gentleman today going, actually, it's the ladies. All the guys saying, we're kind of guilty, or it's both of us. It's everybody's problem, right? So Cindy is coming with historical research. Cindy, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Now, Miss Cindy, take us back to the beginning of time. Why were women gossiping in year 102?
Women were gossiping because they were actually spying on behalf of their husbands. I'm talking about royalty, the French kings and the English kings and the Scottish kings and the Irish kings, if there was one. And but they all needed the women to go and, put their maids in there and what have you, and find out what the whole truth was, and that was gossip.
Fascinating.
And that gossip was spy talk.
Yes, okay, so firstly, everybody who's listening, women do not gossip, we spy talk, all right? So that's the first thing. I would like to normalize that. But now, Cindy, before we let you go, Jay has a very pressing question for you.
Cindy, between you and your husband, who gossips the most?
No, he does. Always.
Really?
Here's a quick one.
Wait.
Who gossips the most?
No, he does. Always.
Really? All right, so that's the first thing. I would like to normalize that. But now, Cindy, before we let you go, Jay has a very pressing question for you.
Cindy, between you and your husband, who gossips the most?
No, he does. Always.
Really?
Here's a quick one. What does he gossip the most about?
Okay, I'll give you the last example. Was my daughter doesn't live that far away, and her and her fiance are not very good at getting really black bags. And one day they did, and then we had to have a chat. about it. And I said,
Spy talk.
What
I had
the
to have a
fuck
spy
did you
talk
say?
with you. Oh, that's so
Man
lovely.
has no idea about power.
Really?
No way.
Here's a quick one. What does he gossip the most about?
Okay, I'll give you the last example. Was my daughter doesn't live that far away, and her fiance are not very good at getting rid of the black bag. And one day they did, and then we had to have a chat about it. And I said,
Spy talk. He had to have a spy talk with you. Oh, that's so
Man
lovely.
has no idea about power.
That's so great. Cindy, go and high five your husband. Stay safe. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh.
It was a pleasure. Have a good evening, both of you.
Cheers, Cindy.
I wonder why the men are not owning up to the fact that men gossip.
No, but they are, Jay. That's what I was saying. Not a single guy has come through and gone, this is a ladies thing. They're going, actually, yeah, maybe it is our
There's a
bad.
historic reason why women
South
do it.
Africans want to get their
What's
mouth shut,
the
eh?
historic reason why men do it?
Because they can.
That can't be a reason. Like, what's the history? Maybe we're sitting, I don't know.
There'll be a National Geographic special soon. Wrapping up our big
Reason why women do it.
spy talk.
What's the historic reason why men do it?
Because they can.
That can't be a reason. Like, what's the history? Maybe we're sitting, I don't know.
There'll be a National Geographic special soon. Wrapping up our big debate today as to who gossips more, the ladies.
Hashtag the big debate.
So we know it's the guys. I mean, the jig is officially up. I've counted every voice note, and again, thank you everyone. There were like hundreds of voice notes.
Hundreds of women on
some
the
of the
goddamn
ladies,
phone talking
granted,
about men. There you
throwing
go.
the rest of us under the bus. But again, as we've just learned from Miss Cindy, a history lesson.
Yeah,
Okay.
goes back in time.
Spy talk, not gossiping. But then I would say all the ladies and all the guys, kind of the rest of them going, well, actually, it's the men. And is it surprising?
No, I'm not surprised. We just do it differently, like I said. Like, we don't delve into the story, but like we say it like it's nothing. But women go in. Oh, Shem, did you hear? Oh, man, hi, Bo. You know, they go in like hard. So
I literally did that this morning.
I wonder what you're gossiping about. Ooh, stay tuned for more. All right, let's listen to Alan.
I'd say men and women gossip similar, but men and women together, they can gossip.
I actually have to agree with Alan there. Like, if I think about gossiping and the gossip sessions that I've had, or the spy talks that
I'd say men and women gossip similar, but men and women together, they can gossip.
I actually have to agree with Alan there. Like, if I think about gossiping and the gossip sessions that I've had, or the spy talks that I've had, the more I've spoken to women, the more fun I've had, or the more enticing the gossip was with a woman as opposed to just man to man.
See,
Men are boring.
because you like that reaction. Do it again, the one you did earlier.
Oh, hey, have you had? Hey,
See, that is actually, you are living for that. You are living for that. Case closed, dudes. Stop spy talking. The end.
Stacey and Jay Spoon, East Coast Radio. On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
The Competition Tribunal has found Dis-Chem guilty of contravening the Competition Act by selling surgical face masks at excessive prices during the coronavirus outbreak.
This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
The Competition Tribunal has found Dis-Chem guilty of contravening the Competition Act by selling surgical face masks at excessive prices during the coronavirus outbreak. The pharmacy chain will have to pay 1.2 million rand in fines. The case was referred to the tribunal by the Competition Commission in April after the competition watchdog received complaints from the public about excessive pricing. Dis-Chem is alleged to have hiked prices between 43% and 261%. The 6 men accused of the murder of Tongatin Andile Mbutu will this week find out whether they'll be granted bail. Today, the accused, Tavan owner Mlungisi Tabete, and 5 others appeared at the Verulam Magistrates Court, where the attorney Chris Gounden presented his closing arguments. Lauren Bucas was there.
The case got off to a rough start today when no interpreter could be found to assist with translations for the accused, leaving uncertainty on whether proceedings would continue. Gounden, however, insisted on it going ahead, assuring the court that his clients are able to understand and will not be left in the dark. He started his arguments by claiming that his clients, charged with murder and kidnapping, were given no specific reason why the state opposed their bail. He argued that there was no clear indication as to where information on the affidavits had come from, claiming that the investigative officer is trying to mislead the court. Gounden says this is an open and shut case, claiming that his clients have given no reason not to be granted bail. He says video footage of the victim does not implicate any one of the accused. He says a petition handed to the court by the community for no bail looks fabricated and isn't reliable. The case has been adjourned till tomorrow, where the state will give their closing arguments. Lauren Bucas, East Coast Radio Newswatch, Verulam Magistrates Court.
The lobby group Smokers Unite SA says it's planning a peaceful nationwide demonstration tomorrow in protest of government's continued ban on the sale of tobacco products. Event organizer Linda Barnard says some 11 million smokers are being criminalized for their choice to smoke.
We are planning a nationwide slow drive in protest against the ban on the cigarettes, but it's also to get our human rights back. We are planning this in 8 different places in South Africa. We are all wearing orange masks because we feel that our rights have been incarcerated by the government, and we're wearing it as a mask because our voices have been silenced.
And this just in, Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has announced he's tested positive for the coronavirus, but said he was feeling perfectly well and only has mild symptoms. The far-right leader has caused huge controversy in Brazil for repeatedly flouting containment measures and minimizing the risk of the virus, which has killed 65,000 people in Brazil and infected 1.6 million. Our top story this hour, the Competition Tribunal has found Dis-Chem guilty of contravening the Competition Act by selling surgical face masks at
on FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Second one is different. I don't fucking know.
Tonga detectives have launched an investigation into the murder of a man who was gunned down in Hambanati on Monday night. It's alleged that the 41-year-old pastor was at a mission house adjacent to a church when he was shot in the head. Medics found the man in a critical condition but had soon succumbed to his injuries. KZN SAP's Timbe Gambele says the motive for the shooting is still unknown.
The victim was shot twice to the head, and he was noticed by a passerby who had the gunshots and saw an unknown suspect leaving the premises. And when she proceeded to the house, that's when she noticed the 41-year-old lying in a pool of blood between the car and the veranda. It is suspected that he was opening the burglar guard when he was attacked.
An additional 45.5 million rands has been allocated to the Free State Department of Education.
The veranda. It is suspected that he was opening the burglar guard when he was attacked.
An additional 45.5 million rands has been allocated to the Free State Department of Education to assist with preparations of schools for returning of learners and teachers. This is according to the provincial MEC for Finance, Khadija Brown. Tabling the provincial 2020-2021 budget, Brown announced that the bulk of the budget will go towards the school feeding program, enhancing norms and standards in schools, learner transport programs, and learner-teacher support materials. Officials in central Mali are calling for additional security following recent attacks that have killed 30. Just last week, attacks took place in 4 villages, which has given rise to calls for troops to be brought in. All those killed have been civilians, as ethnic violence between the Fulani and Dogon communities has been on the rise. And scientists say a rare brain inflammation, which is usually triggered by viral infections, could be linked to coronavirus. ADAM is typically seen in children and often happens after a minor infection such as a cold. But researchers from University College London say there's been a concerning increase in cases among adults during the COVID-19 pandemic. The top story, Tonga detectives have launched an investigation into the murder of a pastor who was shot in the head in the area of Hambanati. For Newswatch, I'm Steve.
Fiber optic. So it says it's the same thing, but I don't know for sure, so she's let her run through it.
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker, this is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Tonga detectives have launched an investigation into the murder of a man who was gunned down in Hambanati on Monday night. It's alleged that the 41-year-old pastor was at a mission house adjacent to a church when he was shot in the head. Medics found the man in a critical condition but had soon succumbed to his injuries. KZN SAP's Thembeka Mbele says the motive for the shooting is still unknown.
The victim was shot twice to the head, and he was noticed by a passerby who had the gunshots and saw an unknown suspect leaving the premises. And when she proceeded to the house, that's when she noticed the 41-year-old lying in a pool of blood between the car and the veranda. It is suspected that he was opening the burglar guard when he was attacked.
An additional 45.5 million rand has been allocated to the Free State Department of Education to assist with preparations of schools for returning of learners and teachers. This is according to the Provincial MEC for Finance, Khadija Brown. Tabling the Provincial 2020-2021 budget, Brown announced that the bulk of the budget will go towards the school feeding program, enhancing norms and standards in schools, learner transport programs, and learner-teacher support materials. Officials in central Mali are calling for additional security following recent attacks that have killed 30. Just last week, attacks took place in 4 villages, which has given rise to calls for troops to be brought in. All those killed have been civilians, as ethnic violence between the Fulani and Dogon communities has been on the rise. And scientists say a rare brain inflammation, which is usually triggered by viral infections, could be linked to coronavirus. ADAM is typically seen in children and often happens after a minor infection such as a cold. But researchers from University College London say there's been a concerning increase in cases among adults during the COVID-19 pandemic. The top story, Tonga detectives have launched an investigation into the murder of a pastor who was shot in the head in the area of Hambanati. For Newswatch, I'm Steve.
On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Fuck off.
The uncle of Tonga teenager Andy Lembutu, who was killed after allegedly stealing alcohol from Makagula Lounge Tavern, says they want the suspect denied bail. Mbutu, affectionately known as Bobo, disappeared after the allegations. Shortly after, a video surfaced showing the boy being repeatedly beaten up and lying helplessly in a pool of blood, where it's believed he was held against his will for days at Makagula Tavern. His mutilated body was later found dumped at a local river. Yesterday, the 6 male suspects accused of his disappearance, kidnapping and death appeared at the Verulam Magistrate Court, where the bail application continued and closing arguments between the attorney Chris Gounden and the state began. Previously, the court heard from the state, which said Mbutu's body was burned before being thrown into a bag filled with bricks and tossed into a river, only to be found weeks later. Mbutu's uncle Ndobe Gongedi says while they understand the delays around bail proceedings, they hope the accused are denied bail.
With regards to the issue concerning the bail application, yes, we do feel that it's been prolonged such a long time, but we do understand the circumstances based on the fact that there is this issue concerning the COVID-19. However, as a family, we are quite hit with regards to that it might be finished during the course of the week. As a family, I have to be more specific. We don't want them to get there. We want them to remain in custody till the starting of the beginning of the trial.
Authorities have launched an investigation into the murder of a man who was gunned down in Hambanati on Monday night. It's alleged that the 41-year-old pastor was at a mission house adjacent to a church when he was shot in the head. Medics found the man in a critical condition, but soon succumbed to his injuries. KZN SAP's Thembeka Mbele says the motive is still not known.
The victim was shot twice to the head, and he was noticed by a passerby who had the gunshots and saw an unknown suspect leaving the premises. And when she proceeded to the house, that's when she noticed the 41-year-old lying in a pool of blood between the car and the veranda. It is suspected that he was opening the burglar guard when he was attacked.
And the World Health Organization has acknowledged evidence that coronavirus can be sprayed by tiny particles suspended in the air. An official says airborne transmission can't be ruled out in crowded, closed, or poorly ventilated settings. If the evidence is confirmed, it may affect guidelines for indoor spaces. This comes as 239 researchers from 32 countries are saying smaller droplets may glide through the air across the distance of an average room and infect people when inhaled. The top story, the uncle of Tonga teenager Andy Mbutu, who was allegedly brutally killed after allegedly stealing alcohol from Makakula Lounge Tavern, says they want the suspects denied bail. For Newswatch, I'm Steve.
Darren, Carrie and Sky, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m.
And it is time now for
Illuminati.
This is where our Utisha Sky Shabalala teaches us a phrase, a word, a sentence, a proverb in Easy Zulu in under 60 seconds. Good morning, teacher Shabalala.
Sanibonani bafundi.
Sawubona Tisha, siyaphila Tisha.
Wena Darren unjani mfana wami?
Showcase.
Oh yeah, showcase teacher.
The only time you say showcase to your teacher is probably when you're in matric and your last day at school, bro. That's the only time you say that. Okay, so listen, today I'm gonna teach you how to say, well, I hope you're not saying this during lockdown and during COVID-19, but hey, it's good to know it anyway.
Yeah.
The phrase today, the sentence is, do you need a lift?
Whoa, you echoed there. Say it again.
Do you need a lift?
That seems like a very usable sentence. I could learn that.
Very usable and very simple, but there's two ways to say it, right?
Okay,
so if you are higher grade like Kerry Miller, I'm gonna give you this one. So write this one, Kerry Miller. Uyadinga ukuthi ngikugibeze.
Uyadinga ukuthi ngikugibeze.
Ngikugibeze.
What is ngikugibeze?
So ngikugibeze comes from gibela, which is to ride.
Comrade, why are you complicating this? The sentence is, do you need a lift? Why are you throwing in ngikugibeze?
Because it's a different language, Darren.
Exactly, Darren Moore. This is Zulu. Okay? So that's what
give me the functional grade.
Okay.
The functional grade one from Mr. Morley is uyawudinga yini ulift.
That's what I can do.
That's beautiful.
Uyawudinga yini ulift.
Yes,
I can learn that. I can use that. Hopefully I don't forget it by the time we actually can use it again. But Mr. Shabalala.
Wait.
Uyawudinga yini ulift.
Anongirating na imonto yami.
Sharp showcase.
Sure. Hey Miller, you go.
Uyawudinga yini ulift. I'm joking. Uyadinga ukuthi ngikugibeze.
Kerry Miller, please, better.
Okay. Wetisha. Uyadinga ukuthi ngikugibeze. Ngikugibeze. Uyadinga ukuthi ngikugibeze.
There you go.
Speaking of children
I don't
repeating
think
this.
anyone's going to give you a lift if you ask for it like that. Okay, she's
You actually could do. Depends what I'm wearing.
One there.
Bafundi.
Sure. How much?
I'll see you in a second.
Oh my gosh. Okay, sure.
Listen, for weeks and months and years worth of educational fun with Kuluminati, just go to the podcast there. You can find out that you need a lift and hundreds more available for you.
We are
Go to
learning.
ecr.co.za, click on Darren, Kerry and Sky, or to search for Kuluminati wherever you enjoy your favorite podcast.
Darren, Carrie and Sky, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m.
Holy fuck, this is not. Ooh, there's about 20
Online and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Media Monitoring Africa has described the announcement by Media 24 as a sad day for media diversity in our country. This comes after the company announcers are expected to be affected with the proposed reduction of close on 660 positions out of a total of staff complement of some 2,900. Media Monitoring Africa's William Bird.
In the current environment, that is not surprising at all. We've seen a slew of other magazines already being closed down. We've seen a number of small commercial titles already folding, and it's not surprising that News 24 is also being hit. It's a really sad day for media diversity.
The uncle of Tonga teenager Andy Mbutu, who was killed after allegedly stealing alcohol from Makakula Lounge Tavern,
They want the suspect denied bail. Murtu, affectionately known as Bobo, disappeared after the allegations. Shortly after, a video surfaced showing the boy being repeatedly beaten up and lying helplessly in a pool of blood where it's believed he was held against his will for days at Makagula Tavern. His mutilated body was later found at Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Media Monitoring Africa has described the announcement by Media24 as a sad day.
This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Media Monitoring Africa has described the announcement by Media24 as a sad day for media diversity in our country. This comes after the company announced a possible closure of 5 magazines and 2 newspapers due to the COVID-19 impact. Media24 says around 510 staff members are expected to be affected with a proposed reduction of close on 660
on FM, online, and on your smart speaker.
Please keep locking the fucking screen up, homeboy.
Newswatch.
Media Monitoring Africa has described the announcement by Media24 as a sad day for media diversity in our country. This comes after the company announced a possible closure of 5 magazines and 2 newspapers due to the COVID-19 impact. Media24 says around 510 staff members are expected to be affected with a proposed reduction of close on 660 positions out of a total of staff complement of some 2,900. Media Monitoring Africa's William Bird.
You know, in the current environment, this is not surprising at all. We've seen a slew of other magazines already being closed down. We've seen a number of small commercial titles already folding. And, you know, it's not surprising that News24 is also being hit. It's a really sad day for media diversity.
The uncle of Tonga teenager Andile Mbutu, who was killed after allegedly stealing alcohol from Makagula Lounge Tavern, says they want the suspect denied bail. Mbutu, affectionately known as Bobo, disappeared after the allegations. Shortly after, a video surfaced showing the boy being repeatedly beaten up and lying helplessly in a pool of blood where it's believed he was held against his will for days at Makagula Tavern. His mutilated body was later found dumped at a local river. Yesterday, the 6 male suspects accused of his disappearance, kidnapping and death appeared at the Verulam Magistrate Court, where their bail application continued and the closing arguments between their attorney Chris Gounden and the state began. Previously, the court heard from the state, which said Mbutu's body was burnt before being thrown into a bag filled with bricks and tossed into a river, only to be discovered weeks later. Mbutu's uncle Ntobeko Ngidi says while they understand delays around bail proceedings, they hope the accused are denied bail.
With regards to the issue concerning the bail application, yes, we do feel that it's been prolonged such a long time, but we do understand the circumstances based on the fact that there is this issue concerning the COVID-19. However, as a family, we are quite a bit happy with regards to that it might be finished during the course of the week. As a family, I have to be more specific. We don't want them to get in. We want them to remain in custody till the beginning of the trial.
And it's claimed Facebook and Google lack effective controls to prevent fraudsters from posting scam adverts. An investigation has found bogus ads could appear on the website within a matter of hours. Facebook says it has strict policies against scams, while Google says it's introducing new rules for advertisers from as of next year. The top story, Media24's possible closure of its 5 magazines and 2 newspapers due to the COVID-19 impact has been described as a sad day for
I
media
haven't
in the
touched
country.
anything yet,
From
you
Newswatch.
fucking presumptive piece of shit. This is the thing people hate most about you cocksuckers, is how presumptive you are. What people hate most about you people... Okay, I'll just wait to finish.
Organizations considering scaling back operations and cutting things down, but you know, in the current environment, you know, this is not surprising at all. We've seen a slew of other magazines already being closed down. We've seen a number of small commercial titles already folding. And you know, it's not surprising that News24 is also being hit. It's a really sad day for media diversity. But no, it's not to say that they're closing.
So the problem with you guys that everybody has is how presumptive you are. You reach for the mouse. Let's use the mouse exploit. Yeah, I'm not touching the mouse. Oh, you moved it, so let's make it click on. So you clicked on something, let's make a diss track or that. It's hilarious. It's just simply hilarious. So
the newspapers per se, in instance, it just seems that they are.
Can you fucking explain that one? Thank you. Wow. Holy fuck, this a lot here. Oh shit. It'll scroll up and not down. That's interesting. That's interesting. How the fuck do I make it play now? How did you hide the controls for the fucking player and the fucking... Wow. You are fucking retarded. I can't fix your retardation. It's an individual that is interfering over and over between me and the interface. It is so apparent that it keeps popping up ANRs telling me it's the user interface crashing. Why is it crashing? If it don't crash for months at a time, and every time I touch a subject you cocksuckers are known to fucking hate,
on FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836.
That's not the same track. It was just not. How the fuck did you do that? How did you manage to do? No, seriously. It was on the thing about the Media 24. And it was. I'm gonna read it right now. Possible closure of Media 24 titles. Sad day for media diversity. Okay, but it's not on that anymore. No, it's not. And now I know where the fuck it is. I can skip it back and forth the other way. You guys are so fucking... You're anal. Your perceptions are fucked up. And all you think about is what other people will think or do think and how important you are. What if I just click this?
These organizations considering scaling back operations and cutting.
You're fucking kidding, right? How is it not playing the whole fucking track no matter what I fucking do, eh? Like, no matter what I do, it's refusing to start at the beginning. You're fucking kidding, right? 1 second in is as good as it gets.
These organizations considering scaling back operations and cutting things down, but you know, in the current environment, you know, this is not surprising at all. We've seen a slew of other magazines already being closed down. We've seen a number of small commercial titles already folding, and you know, it's not surprising that News 24 is also being hit. It's a really sad day for media diversity, but you know, it's not to say that they're closing the newspapers per se. In instance, it just seems that they are moving them to be digital only, which I guess in the long term will probably be okay. But you know, this is always a rough thing for people, particularly in small towns where they have less access to media.
How much do they
pay you per word? Where is the future of journalism lying when everything is going online, especially in a country where we do not have access to cheap data or even smartphones, as you alluded to rural communities in South Africa?
Why? You're in South Africa. Why don't you have this shit?
So our media are really caught between a rock and a hard place. They're being encouraged to go digital, but they can't to some, because a lot of their audiences aren't there because of the high cost of access to data in South Africa. And at the same time, digital doesn't really provide the revenue. So media really are in a double bind. It's a very precarious place for them to be. So on that sense, the future does not look at all bright. Against that, though, is the fact that at this moment in this crisis, the media now is an essential service declared so by government, which I think is important because it recognizes that media aren't just there to, you know, as some kind of nice to have. They fulfill an essential service for our democracy to help us understand what's going on. So we do have to find alternative ways of funding media and making sure that they can survive. Because without quality journalism, you cannot have a democracy. It's just, you know, without free media, there's no democracy. It's that simple. So, if we're to retain our democratic state, it's essential that we have media, and that means that you have to have levels of media diversity. How that's going to happen is not so clear, but fortunately, we have a public broadcaster that seems to still be gaining back some level of solidity and stability, which is critical for any democratic state. And we have to hope that some of these small commercial entities are able to find other ways and means of surviving. But we do have to look, as I said, at other forms of funding for them. And maybe once we emerge from this pandemic, there'll be other ways. But at the moment, it literally is a battle for survival.
Yeah, so it is the final look at sports this morning, and it is a big day in the world.
Cricket England against the Woodies in Southampton. The match, of course, will be played behind closed doors. So it's going to be very interesting not seeing that irritating army from England.
Dan's been stoked. He's set to captain England for the first time in the absence of batsman Joe Root, who is in isolation following the birth of his second child. Stokesy will become England's 81st Test captain and the first all-rounder to take charge since Andrew Flintoff. Benjamin says he's pretty pumped to lead the nation.
Oh, the mouse works perfectly. What do you think? You can see it
on FM, on the station app, and on DSTV. Channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. News Watch.
13 people have been injured after a minibus taxi crashed into a wall along Winston Road in Pietermaritzburg. Authorities will be investigating the cause of the crash and prior events that caused the driver to lose control. Now to hear 911 risks.
This is Station App and on DSTV FM, on the Station App and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. News Watch.
13 people have been injured after the minibus taxi crashed into a wall along Winston Road in Pietermaritzburg. Authorities will be investigating the cause of the crash and prior events that caused the driver to lose control. Healthcare 911 responded to the scene along with firefighters, where jaws of life had to be used to free the medical services.
You realize jaws of life?
13 people had and moderate to moderate injury. All the patients were treated on scene and once stabilized were transported by various ambulance services to hospital for further treatment. Media Monitoring Africa has described the announcement by Media24 as the third day for media diversity in our country. This comes after the company announced a possible closure of 5 magazines and 2.
Pretty bad, nothing you can hear me. And so the question I have is, how come you respond to the stupid, ignorant things I say to you even when I got my thumb on the mic? That's amazing, brethren. You used a 99-cent app. Did you pay tax for that shit too? So what does it mean when you twist a guy's face? I've never. See, if I'm twisted, I'm angry. The joint gets twisted. You're trying to say I'm twisted. I'm not angry, moron. I just can't believe you lock up the system so bad. There is such a huge delay. Yeah, because it runs out of memory all the fucking time after like an hour, right? Actually, we've only been doing this 20 minutes, so. No, I'm not sure because I can't see the clock. But I don't need the clock to do what I'm doing right now. So it's interesting. I just dumped the memory, and yet now it's slowing down and running slower and slower and slower and slower and slower as I bitch about it, you know. So I don't know what the point would be in me continuing here. Oh, because that's normal too. Clearing the memory always slows down your computer, right? Only when I'm logged in with this shit doing this, talking about certain subjects. They don't want me talking about South Africa at all. They want to keep telling people I don't know anything about South Africa, therefore what I said about these cocksuckers must be a lie. They're wearing South Africa t-shirts. They're proud of being Cape Coloreds. They consider themselves better than me because I'm black, but they also hate on me because they identify as white, so even if I was considered mixed, no, I'm purebred, motherfucker. If I got sickle cell, it's black on both sides. Neither of my parents is half white, neither. So I don't see how you people fucking consider that white at all. You can't. You're nowhere in the... It's 3 generations later, you're still considered white. No, you're not. Where in the world is that? Yes, again. Yeah, my spleen hurts. I'm not having a hard time focusing. My spleen hurts. And every time I look up, the fucking 4-second delay, 8 seconds. I guess you must have a 4-second ping time. Because it's the camera's the weak link in the whole system. That connection's not encrypted. Why would it be? That doesn't even make sense. I gave a fuck, but I don't. Yeah, it looks like this. It's a damn website. Are you fucking retarded, bro? Keep, please, freezing shit up. How's it skipping back 20 seconds to show me a screenshot, bro? And why you keep freezing it when I'm speaking? Does it just increase the odds? You might catch my mouth open. My teeth are still clamped shut, you stupid fuck. I hate you fucking homos. Bati boy pieces of shit. You're so repressed, you don't leave your fucking house. You think you're good at what you do because you don't fucking research what you do. What name do they call you?